In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can completely change the default system font of your Windows 11 or even Windows 10 PC. Now, this is something that you can simply do if you are bored by the default font and you simply want to customize your font to something that is more stylish. So you may simply want that for customization. It's important though, as you begin working with this, that you're aware of the risks that actually would come with us touching some of the areas that enable us to customize this. And speaking of that, we're talking of the registry. So it's important to make sure that you have some sort of backup so that if anything goes wrong, you'll be able to roll back your PC to a proper font. And I would simply recommend having a system restore of some sort. So this would simply be a restore point that would allow us to reverse any changes we have made in the event that things have gone wrong. Now, when we go into our registry, we're going to be making certain changes to our default settings. And this is the main reason why we need that backup solution. Without further ado, let's dive into our Windows machine and look at how we can go about doing this customization. All right, so here we're within our Windows 10 device. So let's go ahead and access our registry. We'll go ahead and click on search and type run. Once we're in this area, we simply have to type Reg Edit. This allows us to edit our registry. We'll click OK over there, agree by clicking yes. And once we're in this area, we simply want to go and access our local machine. There are actually two ways in which you can actually achieve this. So this is the long way of doing it. You'd go and do local machine, access software over there. And from software, you'd go and access Microsoft. From Microsoft, you'd now have to look for Windows NT, which could be a long way down here. So once you access your Windows NT, there we are. Click on Windows NT, then you have current version over there, and this exposes the fonts section. So you're looking for a section that says fonts. So I'll simply scroll looking for fonts. I'm trying to see if I could actually easily access it. And there we go. Right, so we've got fonts over there and we have font substitutes. So I'll simply go ahead and select font substitute and look for Segoe UI. Now, the Segoe UI is simply what is on your Windows 10 or Windows 11 by default, and you can see it over here. And I would simply go ahead and right click on it, click on modify, and change these to a different font. So let's say I simply want to change this to Segoe Script, for example. I would go ahead and click on OK. Once I click on OK, close that, restart my machine. By restarting this machine, our new font will be put into effect. So let's go ahead and restart that. All right, so we're back in our device. So let's go ahead and key in our password over there, key in our password and see whether this actually has changed. And there we go. Okay, so we can see clearly here that our font has actually changed to Segoe Script. All right, you can see the difference between our previous font and the new font that we now have within our environment. So this actually makes it very easy for us to identify any PC that carries the Segoe Script font. All right. The other way in which we do this is by writing a script that allows us to automatically have this implemented on our Windows machine. So all we have to do in this case is to access Notepad. All right, so go ahead and access Notepad over there. And once we access Notepad, I'll simply go ahead and paste that script in there. Now, you'd notice that this script is actually the very same process as we did prior. So for example, we had access to a local machine, we went to software, we went to Windows, Windows NT, current version, we went to fonts, etc. So this is simply saying, go ahead and change the font from this section of our registry. And finally, make the font Segoe UI or make it Segoe Script. Like in this case, we know that this is in Segoe Script. So this simply works as a backup if I wanted to revert everything to the default font. Or it could actually work as the actual script that I changed to effect Segoe Script font on my device. All right. So in this case, I'm already in script. I want to change Segoe Script to Segoe UI. I'll simply go ahead and say, we want Segoe UI over there. All right. And then we go ahead and save this. Now, when we save this, it's important for us to remember that we should have this in reg format. So it should be a .reg over there. And then we can select the location, click on save, and we should be good. And once we have our default font over there, we simply go ahead and double click on it, agree to that, and this would run. Once it is running in our environment, we have to go ahead and do the same thing that we did previously, which is to restart. And once this has restarted, we should be able to see the change that we want to see on this particular device. And that is for us to have the Segoe UI font as the default font of this particular PC. So let's go ahead and sign in again. Our password over there, I had a mismatch of my keys over there. Okay, so let's see if that has updated. Yeah, that looks perfect. So we're back in the Segoe UI font, which is the boring default font for Windows devices. Now, if you found this to be very helpful and you actually want to use it, you'd find this particular script under the description of this video. And that, my friend, is how you change your Windows default font. Goodbye for now. I'll see you in the next one.